Okay, folks, good morning. I'm going to try something a little bit different. And I am not a computer person. So we'll see how this goes. Yeah, I think this should be okay. We shouldn't need the phone for anything. So we're filming from the desktop in vertical mode-ish. I couldn't do the whole screen. That's got to do it differently. So we'll see how this works. So we got our work area here in front of us, and the tanks that we've completed, and what we're working on right now, which is, did we finish this one? No, we have the drippings to do. We still have the drippings to do on this tank here. All right, let's get a little bit more light. And we did paint the headlamp. And we had a light dry brush on top. So let's go ahead and get the three tones. All right, for that we're going to need and then I want to show you guys something when more of you guys come online. Assuming this is streaming correctly. We'll see. We did an experiment with a new material yesterday. And we'll take a look and see how it goes. All right, a little bit of water here. All right, and the Three Sisters. Good morning, Ben. Streaming in vertical. Hey, what are you doing? You should be at work. You're on your tea break or crumpet. You're on your crumpet stop. So I did an experiment. I went and I bought a product for snow. I watched this video. There's a million videos on it, and I had to do a return at the craft place, and let's see, make sure we get these in camera. I'm not used to where this camera is located. First break. How many breaks you guys have? Man, you guys got it good. I'd move to Britain if it wasn't for you guys didn't want me and you drive on the wrong side of the road. This is this new material. Light molding paste. Hold on, where the hell's the video? Thank you. Hey, and it's not backwards. You went to Miami? Hell no. I hate Miami. And this is what it looks like. I don't know if that comes out okay because I don't have my glasses in, so I can't really see if what you have is in focus. It looks okay. And I think if I use that in combination with some of these other things, I think we can get some pretty good looking snow. Because I'm gonna need to lay it in places on some of these vehicles, not necessarily these Russian ones, but the American ones that look terrible to cover some shit up. So, now, how hard is it? Not that much, and it's semi-shiny, so that's a good thing. Very little. I'm pretty happy with that as something pretty easy. Stuff's pretty expensive, $16 for that, but I don't think I'll ever have to buy another container of that. All right, so drippings. And made in the USA. I guess I don't have a I don't have a problem with things being made in other places as long as the place isn't nefarious. I don't have a problem with using products from other countries. Do you know paper engineer? No. No. Is this paper? No, this is a top of a plastic lid. Because I've completely given up on using the wet palette. Not that there's anything wrong with it. It's too much trouble. Maybe if I had an assistant that made sure that it was. That's what I need. I need an assistant. I need an assistant that works for as much money as I do. So basically, you're not getting paid. So my therapy is to paint. Maybe I need find somebody whose therapy is like to put things together for their master or something. I don't know. Have if you know, fuck you guys. That's a preemptive fuck you to everything April Fools. I absolutely hate that. Absolutely hate that. You know, and the only thing that I ever fell for in recent memory is the guy that used to run Fanaticus would always come up with bullshit like that. And I don't have a problem with a guy, but fuck you if you do April Fool's stuff. I hope you get explosive diarrhea at the wrong time. Like you're having a meeting and like, just unload right there. I hate that. Because first of all, I don't, one of the worst things you can do to me is lie to me. So like April Fool's is like a liar to a factor of like 100. Talk to me about Wintergewitter and Chinese World War II figures. Well, somebody read the memo. All right. So, you weren't on here the other day, but Ben and I were having a discussion, and Ben brings up the fact that he's looking for some figures from Stonewall for early Russians. And I'm surfing through there, and they make Chinese. They make nationalist Chinese. I don't know how they look because the video is like taken from like the picture is like taken like from outer space. But they make freaking warlords and stuff like that. They make nationalist and communist Chinese. That sounds a lot more interesting than the Philippines to me. So, for Asia. Just saying. And nobody does that except that one guy in Australia. And he makes his own figures. So, Stonewall. You're just about to post a lead adventure report asking what the sizes of them are like, hoping they match with TD. That's a good forum, but I feel like those forums suck because I like to share things that are heavy in the picture department. Like, hey, here's something I took a picture of. And going through another hosting service to get the link to put it on that forum is just, that's like, pre 9/11 stuff, you know? I just don't want to engage in it. That's why I don't like that kind of a forum. I know one guy who posts on there all the time, and I'm like, and he doesn't post on Facebook, and I'm like, see, that's what I use my Facebook at. Like, you take a picture, boom, post it on there. I don't get involved in Facebook controversy and stuff like that. Yeah, that's the guy I'm talking. Thompson's Army Biscuits. That's the name of his channel? Wow. Ben Waddy's Tea Crumpets. I can do that one. Waddington's Tea Crumpets. So, I'm reading Scheibert's thing, and I'm not going to be successful reading it because I literally need to take notes while I'm reading it because it's that descriptive. It doesn't exactly give me like the layout of the freaking town, but there's some real tactical stuff. And there's this one situation towards the when the 6th Panzer Division unloaded, one of the first towns they went and tried to secure, the Russians were arriving at the same time that the Germans were to push them away from the relief of Stalingrad, or at least to keep that from moving. And the Panzer Regiment, the 11th Panzer Regiment, which is of the 6th Panzer Division, split in two halves, and they have the Panzer Grenadiers. They've got 4 battalions of Panzer Grenadiers, 2 of them in each regiment. One of the 4 is mounted in half tracks, and it's basically behind the 2 tanks. And cavalry, mounted cavalry, they say they came in mounted and came in between I don't know what kind of space there is, I don't remember right now, between the 2 Panzer battalions, but the cavalry went in between them, and then the Panzer Grenadiers had to get them out. So I'm like, okay, that's a freaking cool scenario, or at least, a little part of it, because you think, oh, well, nobody's going into combat on horses. Well, I don't think that they shot from horseback, but they probably used the horses to get in pretty close. So that's pretty neat. You're watching Working with China. I like his videos. Checking out Stonewall now. It reads through a combat. So I think they just expanded it. It's not the same sculptor. It's not the same sculptor at all. The same sculptor only did some modern things. And if you'd be able to see the pictures up close, you'd be able to tell exactly what they are. I would have already bought them had they been the same sculptor. I've got everything that guy makes, at least one of, except his, I don't have Soviet cavalry, because my buddy had them, and there's not that many different poses. I don't have the Soviet cavalry from combat, and I don't have the Marines. I have everything else. That's World War II. At least one pack of everything. But I'd rather do China than the Philippines. More unique. I'd do the Philippines too. I mean, if you got to do like Americans in the Pacific, Philippines in 44/45. But if you do China, you can do those really crummy Japanese tanks. But you know what? A crummy tank is better than no tank at all. Back into Beyond or work, whichever is more dangerous. The back of Beyond. You say that and I immediately think of those figures. Who's it? I don't know who makes Artisan? Somebody. Those are cool looking figures though. Yeah, I don't have the blues on oh shit, the video's not in focus. There we go. Sorry about that. I don't know if you guys even care about the video, but maybe other people that come by do. So we're going to end today. Before I stop, I'm going to put the decals on the Shermans, because I'm going to probably be doing them relatively soon. The bold Shermans. The terrible looking bold Shermans. They'll be fine. After doing these BP cast trucks, they'll be fine. But the snow doesn't look bad. Oh, let's put the glass on so I see where it's in notice. It's in focus. Nope. Find the camera, damn it. Let's kill this. I think it's... Oh my gosh. I don't know. I'll take a picture and put it on Facebook. It doesn't look bad. So I I didn't want to buy the AK snow thing because it's too complicated. It's like seven different steps. I'm like, okay, I just want to put some snow to cover up. Like I'm just learning, okay? Just I don't need to put it all over the tanks. I don't know that I even want to put it on any of these tanks. I want to put it on the Shermans to cover up some of those holes that are in the resin. And one of the things I think that we're going to do over the weekend or so, we're not going to do it midweek because it's going to take some time to do it, and I don't want to consume the time that I have during the week. Is I've got some felt left over from DBA and stuff that I haven't used. So just a 8.5 by 11 sheets of felt in like some different colors, and I'm going to airbrush some of them with white and see what a good background color is going to be. Like whenever I make the snow land, it's not going to be completely white. It's going to be actually mostly not white, but I have a feeling probably a really dark brown is going to be the best, and then just layer up from there. And I also want to see, okay, if I spray on this, are you going to see too much of the texture of the felt? Is it going to look hokey? That kind of stuff. Yeah, it cured over. It cured overnight. Yeah, it looks pretty good. It's semi sheenish. Yeah, it's just as shiny as the top of the bottle. Let's put it that way, the bottle cap. And I think if I mix it in with some other stuff, this is the snow. It's actually the flakes are pretty big for this. I think we'll be able to do something. So I didn't make a shape or anything. I just put some on here just to see if it would look like, and I think it'll be okay. Maybe some snow figures coming up soon. It'll be your U.S. infantry in greatcoats. And what you gave me is basically a squad of them. So I can't guarantee I'll paint the whole squad before I move on to something else, but I'm just being a little butterfly moving from thing to thing. As long as I'm not going to change scales. We're only going to do World War II. So, you put those limitations and it's, anything's fair game in there. Gaming is not a huge priority for me. Actually, it's not a priority at all. I'm still up in the air whether or not I'm going to go to the show. Yeah, they look pretty good. Those Mars ones are not available in stores. it's just it's impossible to find some of these things anywhere other than online. And what's really difficult to find is the Battle of Berlin set that has the little Fuhrer, the little picture of the Fuhrer. You know what I'm talking about if you've seen it. He's it's got a shriveled up Hitler. That's like perfect for scenarios. Go in and take that guy out, or the other people have to save him, or I don't know why the hell you'd want to save Hitler. that's that's be top of bad ideas right there. Maybe some of those guys that were maybe some of those guys that were reenacting the SS might have wanted to save Hitler, not me. You have some great. I do. The problem is I have to decide to make them as winter. The Stalingrad Russians are incredible. They're incredible scopes. They really are. But the vehicles get, man, the subtlety of this is so freaking incredible. Well, I can't. Oh, I can do this though. I can do this. Haha. We have my camera back. I have my phone back. Yeah, I need to film from the computer because I need my phone to be able to do stuff like what I'm about to do right now. Ah, it doesn't capture it. Still doesn't capture it. It just looks like wet spots at this point. But it's got a rusty transparency to it. This stuff is great, and I think all you guys all over the world have access to it. It's not like it's only an American product. The Army Painter Quick Shade stuff. Yeah, just water it down and you can make it more translucent. Is what I was looking for. I really do like painting figures, but people don't get excited about figures. I mean, I do, but other people don't. It's true. People are like, oh, tank figure, whatever. When I started back on this ride, um, 2 years ago, I looked at all those skirmish campaign books, and I'm like, I don't know how the hell I'm going to get all these vehicles painted for it. And now I'm like, I got more. I mean, I've got too many vehicles. I have too many T-34s for any of those scenarios. So that's not an issue anymore. But honestly, I just need to just use those as a guide and just make my own scenarios up that are just like, they can be really small. Like, you need to go to this armored car and get the papers, or, you know, there's a tank crew that is pinned down behind a tank and you need to go in and provide some covering fire and get them out of there before they get overwhelmed by the Russians, or, stuff like that. That doesn't matter what there's a victory conditions, but it doesn't need to be balanced. It's like, bam, this happened. What do you do with it? That kind of stuff. Don't be so worried about things not being completely balanced, because sometimes a balanced scenario is unbalancing, and sometimes something that's unbalanced is actually balanced. So, but it's easy to fall into that. Well, I got to use an official scenario because those guys know better, and they really don't. In a lot of cases, I've been disappointed with buying some kind of something that I thought was going to be really revealing about a certain situation, figuring these guys had access to other sources. And that happens less and less every day with the with being able to have access to everything that's on over the internet. It used to be like, oh, well, you got to get a copy of this, and you can't. It's very difficult to get a copy of that. Well, that isn't the case anymore. What did we do for rust here? Went all the way around. And there's a lot of these vehicles that I thought looked pretty good a couple years ago, and I'm like, okay, we can do better than that. But luckily, just involves enhancing. So in other words, put a little bit more black lining or this rusty stuff on it, and then we're good. It's not like we got to repaint the whole thing, you know. let's put a thicker bit of this. Of where this rustification just kind of settled there. All right, let's do the same thing to the turret. So what do you guys think about the camera feed on the computer but still vertical? We okay, or? Better on the phone? The resolution should be better for you guys. The phone's going to limit me to 720. This has got the 1080, which really should be doing better than that. And remember several months ago when I was having issues supposedly with the feed and it was kind of cutting out and stuff? I've done nothing different. So when it misbehaves, it's nothing I did. I'm just doing the same thing I do every time. Need a coffee refresh. You're having more than one cup of coffee every day, huh? One cup of coffee for every business that you manage. I still have water in here? I do. Let me do the Sherman so I don't forget. Uh-oh. Back. You're liking this Stonewall site. Might have to work up a mock order to see what shipping looks like. I'm still waiting a Simon's order later this month. I get a lot of joy out of looking at things and not purchasing them. You save a lot of money that way too. Although if I can make some of these vehicles look decent, I can pretty much do anything. Alright, so yesterday we ended up doing some clear coat on the side of these. I need to see how many stars I have that don't have the circles around them. I like the ones that have the circles around them. They just didn't use them a whole lot. And these are impossible to see. Now here we have some huge ones. I don't think I have any place on them that they'd be able to fit. Oh, Alleran ones. Those are good. Man, they don't give you very many of the straight stars. Okay, these are all circles. What do we have in here? Man, these are hard to make out. Man, why are they so stingy with just stars without any circles around them? And again, it's not that I don't like them. I actually prefer them with the circle around them, but apparently the people that put them on vehicles didn't prefer them. There's lots of them here in this zone, okay? Man, it's impossible to make out. What do we got here? This is the runs with the Scout card. All right, let me do a... This is without me enhancing it, which is what I normally do is I put it on auto because it kicks some of them, but I mean, those look fucking great. I don't know that I could have imagined them to be look that good. And I'm not opposed to putting a tiny little bit of snow in a couple places, but that's not really for these vehicles. It's really for this. So... Okay, I'm going to go Battle of the Bulge Shermans. Okay? Or Sherman Tanks Battle of the Bulge. I'm not going to put Armored Division markings and none of that shit on there. The U.S. Armored Division markings. Okay, so here we have one. Has a white star on the side of the turret. No circle. Thank you. Here's one that has it on the hull, not on the turret. Here's a decal set. Some of them don't have them at all. Well, I want to put them on there. I mean, if they're going to put them on British vehicles, not on American vehicles, that's ridiculous. It's funny. None of these have one on the front of the glacis. Interesting. Okay, here's one that has one on the front. I didn't ask for Gemini to kick in. Good Lord. Okay. So, no circles just on looking at those, there's no circular ones that are on the side of the turret. All right, so we're not going to do that then. All right, we're super tweezers. All right. These I have to cut out around them, don't I? You bastard. My scissors get lifted from here. My work area is too close to the regular rest of the house, and things get lifted from here. And these are all one sheet too, right? Man, that never used to be the case. I remember building models as a kid. There was nothing you had to cut around. Again, it can be done. It's just something else that's time consuming, and I already got plenty of things that are time consuming. And this is really hard to do because I can barely see the decal at all. All right, there's one. Throw that in the garbage. Okay. That one had the dashes. None of these has a circle without the dash, so we're going to pull one from here. So pull one on one tank and one on the other. And this is kind of a smaller one, so we'll do this. All right. Are there any white stars by themselves left? Yes. Do I have one that's larger than that one? Other than the ones that are massive in size. No, I mean, one of these, and you do one tank, and basically all the white stars are consumed. Lots of circular stuff. It seems like the circular ones are more common in Italy. These are smaller. The larger ones are here. Man, they're impossible to make out. And they might be a little yellowed looking, which is fine because we're going to weather over them anyways. Let's do something I always forget to do. Let's cut on a hard surface. Really should have like a little piece of tile. It's I'm gonna go with that. I can't make it out. I can't make it out. I'd hand paint these stars if it wasn't. I mean, that would take forever to paint one star. I think I didn't cut any of it off. Let's just do the one and see how we get on with it. Where is the blue shit? There it is. We'll do the little Sherman first. The 4A3. Oh, that's a problem. I don't know if this makes a big difference using microset or not. I'll tell you what does make a big difference: gloss coating where they go. That makes a huge difference. Oh, these stars have a stutter in them. That's freaking annoying. Why are so many decals are just garbage? Let me guess, no paper towels either. I'll lock my fucking room. Just easier to get it here than go to the garage and get it, which is, another door away. Come on, soak that up. I don't want to use the stars with a stutter in them. It's like a one on top of another. It's gonna whatever I do is gonna make it look not well. I'll use. Let's try it. If I don't like it, I'll remove it. I could probably paint over one of the stutters, to be honest. This is what I'm talking about. It's out of register. It actually looks like it's one decal on top of another. The guy painted it had a stutter. See, some German Balkenkreuz decals don't have even amount of white, so I find myself touching them up. Could just paint it myself. Yeah, I've gotten the German crosses. I got that shit down. I've got it down. Now, and obviously we're going to weather over that, so you're not going to see it as much. We need another 2. Here's one already. We just haven't put it in water yet. Let's cut this down a size a little bit. You know, and I may actually paint over some of them. I haven't done one of those yet. I haven't done a Sherman that has one of the stars blacked out over them. I don't really like how it looks, but I should do it just for variety. Guys, this is jacked up looking. I think this is probably fairly dull at this point. That's what we're running into. I need to order more of these. But those ones I got from testers are excellent. That one that has that large roundish blade, that thing is excellent. I'll be buying some of those whenever I need them. All right, there's one. So we're gonna need, let's remove this one. This has no decal in it. We need one more for this turret. it's so hard to see where the decal begins and ends. Yeah, push it all the way to the bottom. That way it doesn't float. Okay, and on the other one, let's use this one and just put it only on the turret. I gotta remember when I do those videos, like, is there any background music? Yes. Okay, well, I need to cover it with something. That was super frustrating. At least the video quality is pretty good. I was pretty happy with it. These are a little bit easier to make out. Only thing I didn't like about that video is the 50 calibers firing really didn't do them justice in the video. That really pretty impressive. I mean, you know the cannons are going to be impressive. I'm just talking about 50 caliber. Just who's at the door? Boom, 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 boom. Like, whoa. You better not answer that. Oh, it already released from the paper? Well, I hope it didn't turn 180 degrees. Yeah, these definitely look like they could have some standing snow, almost like they're waiting in ambush for the Germans to come by. Hold them off while reinforcements are called in, kind of thing. Yep, got twisted a little bit. All right. So obviously those decals will end up getting weathered over a little bit, and of course, they both have nicknames. That's a given. And one of these we're going to leave as is. Probably this one, because the stuff on the back is probably better on that one. This one's got like a chunk taken out of that, so we'll end up covering we'll do like a cloth, maybe a couple things back here. All right. While those guys are drying, T3485. Get the decals out of anything wet zone. This is a splash zone. Enter at your own risk. Let's put the top on this. This thing definitely looks like it got hit by a bunch of machine gun fire. I don't. Does this make it easier to see? It's like it's out of focus. Still out of focus. Oh well. All right, black lining. Oh, and then yesterday we broke out the dark tone. We started using dark tone instead of Nuln Oil. I don't think it worked any different. Just wait. Just wait till we do it. Just wait till you do a German vehicle, because the German vehicles, I like everybody's vehicles, but the German vehicles just have just they just have better markings. They have more marking options. Why is this like almost not even in the picture? I mean, this is tilted pretty heavily. Well, that computer mount's actually done me well, as it falls down and breaks. And it wasn't that expensive, $30 or something like that. But it gets the computer off the desk. Marcus, do I remember correctly? One of the companies that you manage is in California, or maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. Yeah, a small coffee shop in West Hollywood. It may not make it. Have you been out there? I'd imagine you have. See, California is probably one of those places that, if you're from there, you probably think it's fine. But the rest of us, we've had so much propaganda thrown at us, whether it's right or not, that I don't ever want to go there. I mean, I probably would like the weather. Well, maybe not Southern California. It's like, okay, it's already hot here. Like, we don't need more of that. But like the Bay Area, other than the earthquake part, I probably like the weather in the Bay Area. But man, you said somebody says California here, and all we think of is taxes, too many people, too many regulations, everything's expensive, and homeless people everywhere. Now, it's probably not true, but that's what gets sent to us. Just like I was looking at somebody else's feed the other day, this morning or something like that, while I was having breakfast, and they were like, "Yeah, U.S. is getting ready to go into another civil war," and I'm like, "We are?" Like, It'd be nice if somebody told me so I could stock up on some ammo. But, don't believe what you hear. The sensationalism. The truth is probably somewhere in between the two, but I remember my dad, the first the first place he got a job when he came to this country was in the Bay Area in the early 1960s. And for all the time growing up, it was like California this and California that, and everything was better in California and this, that, and. And of course, he remembers coming from a third worldish country, maybe a second world country, and then coming to the United States in the early 60s, which would have been, like a completely different animal. But he couldn't stop talking about how good it was. And then when we went to California in the late 80s, it was everything went wrong on that trip. And it was like he stopped talking about California after that because it wasn't what he remembered. But maybe he remembered it wrong. Overregulated for small business. So one of the things that I noticed about going to Spain, I could say the UK, but I only spent 48 hours in the UK, so I can't really be a good judge. But I was in Spain for a couple weeks. As we have this idea, or I have this idea, that in the United States, my generation, we have this idea about this country that may or may not be true, but we grew up with it. And this idea, and I bring it up all the time about being the only melting pot in the world and that kind of stuff. But we have this idea that this country is really good for small businesses. I don't think it is. There was a lot more small businesses in Spain. Everything here is a chain. And it almost seems like, you have a small business, chain comes in and puts a place over there. Instead of and they want to keep buying up the competition instead of we want no competition. Like we have one grocery store here that's really the top tier grocery store, and they have no competition. They don't have it's called Publix. They don't have a Kroger or something like that to give them some competition. Kroger is as good a store as that. They don't have any here. It's almost like, there's this self-imposed, they want everybody wants a monopoly everywhere. And a monopoly is terrible for consumers. Terrible. And I say this all the time. They'll come up with a new product. It might not be a product that I like, but it is good for the consumer. We want choices. California sounds like the most European part of the U.S. to me. I don't know. Is Europe that bad? I don't know. You got to have some regulations, to keep. But, one of the big regulations when I grew up was this whole antitrust thing. Like the government should step in so that you don't have these monopolies and take everything over. But these big corporations are in cahoots with the government, and they're like, we'll just give you money and make these things that, it's just not what we thought it was. Maybe it was always that way, but it's you know, it was cool to go to Spain, and then there was all these individual people making individual bread. That's the thing that I noticed. You have to go to a specialty bread store to get a real loaf of bread. Other than that, it's made in some corporate place, gets distributed to all these other places, and nobody's eating real food. We're all eating fake food, mass produced, that's more expensive. I get it. Okay, all right, you want a piece of bread like this, make it a third of the cost, and you're getting fakey bread. But no, it's even more. Because there's no competition. It's just sad. It's that's not what we thought it was. So there's not going to be a civil war in the United States until there's a Great Depression. You have all this angst, and there's a Great Depression, and people won't have anything to do. And if it ever happens, let's hope the right people go down. The people that are all keeping us, uh, wanting us to hate each other so they can do whatever the hell they want. But you know, you have this idea. Oh, the small businesses thrive in the United States, and I'm sure there's a lot of small businesses. But man, there's a lot of corporate gobbling. You know, we want a bigger footprint, so let's let's get all our competition and then drive the prices up or close a place out and give the consumer less options. That's not good, man. And we are all consumers, all of us. Not like, well, I work for the corporation, dude. You're still a consumer. So, and everything has to show a profit every year, no matter if you know there's bird flu, COVID, um, Thanos comes and exterminates half the population. Oh, we got to show that it's a 3% growth. We got to show 4%, or you know we're all out of jobs. So we got to cook numbers and make things up and steal and take candy from babies. And you know it's like, man, when did this turn into such a you know nefarious? I think we should just pull all our money out of 401ks. Fuck it. Let the stock market just go to hell, and you know, and just and do business in an honorable way. The legal. I'm telling you, we got to go back to duels and personal honor. You know what I'm talking about. You know, like I can't have my own business because I'd try to do the right thing, and then somebody would try to screw me, and I would take it personal and have to like go find who my nearest representative of the mob is, and you know the rest of it just turns into an episode of Grand Theft Auto. You know, but there's like a lack of honor in everywhere in everything. I don't know how these people sleep at night. I really don't know how they sleep at night. People have either gotten themselves working for people that are nefarious, or they're so money hungry that they're willing to do anything to compromise their morality, or both, or I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Okay, Marcus, thanks for coming by. I'll see if I can dig up some other cavalry interesting things. I do like painting horses, and I had never painted any horses at all ever until I started working on DBA armies. No, when the hell when the hell are you going to use horses? Well, they used lots of them in World War II. They did, but people don't build them. Very few people make them. They are out there, but you got to look a little deeper for them. one of these here in the corner, but I can't make it out. The law needs to protect the little guy over the megacorp. That is coming under threat with the influence of the billionaire owners on governments. There's no money in protecting the little guy. And the problem with that, they're always like, oh, we got to tax the rich, tax the rich, tax the rich. The problem is the rich have all these loopholes. So you can tax them all you want. They have all these loopholes that normal people can't use. So I think whatever system you have, there shouldn't be any fucking loopholes. Like, this is how much you're paying, everybody's paying. Okay, we don't tax anybody, and everybody pays 20% consumption tax or whatever. But just kill the loopholes. Have the loophole finders, have them find another job. Go do something productive. Go make widgets or whatever. It's just too complicated. And the rest of us are just like, we're just apathetic, just like, whatever, just do whatever the fuck you want. I'm gonna go to my land and play with tanks, because I don't understand what you're doing. And I'm not an ignorant person, but it's just like, I just tune out when I hear that stuff. I'm like, I can either get mad or I'll just tune out. I'm gonna go back to another land and my miniatures. Or you could be like a lot of people that are they're upset about everything. I don't get upset. I just tune it out. Like, fuck it. Do whatever you want. I'll be dead in 40 years anyways. 40? Yeah, or so. There should be a flat rate tax paid by everyone, or a tax on land. Well, we pay a tax on land. I think you shouldn't have that. But they don't really own the land the way it is now. I think there should be a consumption tax. So if people come here illegally, which is fine. The problem is they're not paying taxes. Okay, so come here illegally, whatever, and then you pay 30% on a price of bread when you buy it in the convenience store. Right. So the only way you can get away with not paying your fair share is you got to buy it on the black market, which I guess could happen anywhere, anyways. But most people aren't. Most people aren't against people coming to this country. They just, you want to get away with murder and stuff. Like, pay your fair share. If your fair share is contributing to the tax thing, then that we need to get your money somehow. As long as they're, productive, good working people, not like, criminals or whatever. We don't even want the criminals that are here. I decided to put a weld mark on the bottom of this. This has the potential to have nice detail. It's just all like miscast and stuff. Best for mental health is only worry about you control. Absolutely. Lose yourself in a world of your own making. Work for me. Yep. Why do you think I'm on here all the time? Yep. Not only can I control everything here, everything goes well. That's why I don't have to do drugs. I just come here. Everybody else is on multiple pills and smoking pot and all this other. Not me. Happy, happy, joy, joy. This thing will end up looking okay. This thing will end up looking okay. I'll have to take a look at lunchtime for some decal ideas. I feel like it needs to have a brigade marking on it or something. I'll come to the right decision when the time comes for it, I think. We have value added tax that consumers have to pay. Well, I don't know how it is in Britain, but in Spain, it's added into the price of the item. That's the fucking way to do it. And I tell you what I really liked about Europe is that there's things they do better than here. And other than Canada, I haven't been to countries that do things prior to going to Europe. I haven't been to countries where they do things better than the United States. So it was nice to go to another place where it's like, this is better here. And prior to that, I'm like, VAT. Oh man, that's just getting screwed. It's hidden in there. You can just tell me how much to pay, and however you sort out the difference, that's on you guys. I prefer it that way. I don't remember how it was in Britain, but in Spain, it's figured in. I don't know how it is in Britain because I didn't spend enough time there. There's this one. There was this one food place. It was like a burger joint or something like that. A couple years that I encountered, and they ended every price in a weird number, so that when you added the sales tax, it would round out to either a quarter, a 50 cents, 75 cents, or $1. So it was all like even numbers. It wasn't like this, all this stupid change and stuff. I mean, now ultimately it doesn't matter because I'm basically paying everything electronically. I don't use cash. I don't use physical cash. I went to Europe. I didn't use physical cash. So physical cash is a hassle. You get direct deposit, goes to the bank. I need to take cash out. They want to charge you money to keep take. I mean, why are you charging me money to get my own money out? VAT is an EU-wide tax which we have retained post Brexit. It's included in the final price. Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. That's the way to do it. I don't feel it. I like the fact that you guys include there's no tip when you go to a restaurant. There's no tip there. Like it's already like they just pay people a wage, a full wage, instead of like, well, we'll make the consumer pay part of the wage. Like, why don't you just add it into the freaking price? And the consumer ends up paying it anyways. It's just again, it smells like a loophole. I guaranteed that was created as a loophole because somebody rich didn't want to pay their share. F loopholes. It's almost like they decided, you know what? We have all these accountants that don't have enough to do. We need to put them to work. I know. We'll make everything really fucking complicated. What about the attorneys? We'll make everything freaking complicated them, so we'll need them too. Like, man, just leave us. Let's be productive. And there's just too many people that are like, it's my guy, he's all right. Like I would consider myself, if I had to put labels on myself, I would consider myself a traditional. Let's see, what's the name that would come up with it? Conservative traditionalist. But I don't want people that I think are okay to get away with murder. I mean, you can't just have unbalanced things. Like I don't believe in unions, but you can't have conditions where you people created unions because people were being abused. So stop abusing freaking people. You know. I don't like unions because it's like, oh, I'm not picking up that wrench. Why? Because that's not part of my job description. That's how you get fired, man. That's how you get fired. Like, you know what you need to do. You don't need to say someone in the center. But I hate when people get away with shit. It's like not cool, man. And I don't want to take advantage of people. That's not. I'm not interested in that. Most natural foodstuffs are exempt, but processed and takeaways seem to be at the top rate. Again, too complicated. Here you go to the grocery store. Oh, okay, it's a vegetable, it doesn't have taxes. Oh, it's a prepared food, it does. Why? It's too complicated. UK minimum wage is. Yeah, but the minimum wage isn't meant to be lived on, you know? You have these stories like, yeah, I worked at McDonald's for 20 years, I can't make a living. Like, why would you work at McDonald's for 20 years? And I'm sorry, there was a big after COVID, there was like a big bump in how much people at these minimum wage jobs meant. And the products that they produced at those minimum wage jobs went to shit. So in other words, like if you go at a if a fine dining establishment is a 4-star restaurant and a fast food joint is a 1-star restaurant, you can't go to 1-star restaurants anywhere. You might as well just go to a 3. You might as well go to a 3 or 4 because it costs almost the same. And the ones and twos are terrible now. Terrible. Like you get attitude, your food's crappy, it's bad for you. Like, you know, honestly, we rarely go out to eat anymore. Like It's not worth the inconvenience, and it's super expensive, and it's just crappy. Forget service. Like, I don't need to be waited on. Like, show me where the refill place is. I'll get my own refill. I don't need to be, I'm not royalty or anything. I'm not that kind of a conservative, okay? I'm not a, I don't need people waiting on me. I'm not interested in that. All right, well, I think this is where we're going to stop on this guy here. See how it looks next to. I think it'll end up being okay. I think it'll end up being okay. Maybe on this one, once I get it down, a little bit of standing snow in a few places. It'll look all right. It'll certainly look good at 2 or 3 feet away. You know. Okay, folks. Anyhow, that's it for this morning. We'll be back on later this evening or tomorrow morning to solve the rest of the world's problems and then drift back into our fantasy land. Enjoy your day. Have a good one, Jeffrey. Bye bye. Now I gotta remember where the hell to turn off the button is.